While the bulk of Parshas Shelach is perhaps about the story of the Meraglim, the spies that were sent, and the negative report that they brought back about Eretz Yisrael and the punishment that they received as a result, the Torah also tells us about a very fundamental mitzvah, the mitzvah of Challah. This is a Torah by Daber Hashem Moshe More Daber Bnei Yisrael, speak to the Jewish people, and tell them, when you go into Eretz Yisrael, the land to which I bring you, when you eat from the bread of the land, tarimu chuma Hashem, take off a chuma for Hashem. Reishis arisosechem, the first of your dough, challah tarimu chuma, take that off as challah, as chuma. Interesting, the part which is taken off as challah, we colloquially refer to the bread that we eat as challah, but we take off this challah, kechumas go and kain moso, which is going to be like the chuma which is taken from the grain. And then the Torah concludes, again, that you're going to take the first of the grain, the dough, as chuma. And the Sforno comments with the question that we can ask frequently in the Torah, and we don't always ask, but here the Torah does ask, in terms of smichos Parshas, why is it that two episodes are juxtaposed? So Torah, the Sforno says, Challah tarimu chuma, when it says that you should take off the challah as a chuma, that after the Challah-Meraglim specifically, challah was necessary. What's the connection between the two? Why is challah necessary? What connection is there between that and the Challah-Meraglim? Says the Sforno that it's allowed the bracha, the blessings of Hashem, to come into one's home. Like by giving the beginning of the dough to the first of the dough to the Kohen, that brings bracha into your home. It sounds like what the Sforno was saying, that the tikkun, that as a result of the Challah-Meraglim, it was necessary to bring more bracha into the home. How does bracha come into the home? Bracha comes into the home through challah. What's the connection between the two? How is it that challah brings bracha into the home? And what is that connection to the Challah-Meraglim? So I saw a suggestion that perhaps the idea is that as opposed to just truma and meiser, what is unique about the mitzvah of challah, and what the Torah is trying to highlight here, is that what was the chet of the Meraglim? What was the mistake that the Meraglim meant? Is that they wanted to figure out how to do everything on their own. How to do everything on their own. That they were the ones who were in charge. And if they can't figure out how to do it on their own, the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the fact that Hashem wants to take them into the land, is not going to be sufficient. It was a lack of emunah and understanding that Hashem is the one who runs the world. You see, when it comes to the truma and meiser, which is normally taken, so that comes from what grows from the ground, whatever the person did and what efforts a person put in, the grain emerges and is given as a gift to whoever is supposed to be given to. Challah is different. Challah is not just taking from that which grew from the ground. It wasn't just that initial effort, but it was the effort that was put into creating that which really is the essence of what sustains us physically. It is the bread, is the most basic unit of food that we have. And therefore, one might have thought that, look, if I can take the grain and turn that into bread, then I am really the one who is in control. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says that on that, I want to make sure that they understand that if bracha is going to come back to the homes, it's because we understand and we have emunah and we have faith that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one who runs the world. And that is what the Sforno is teaching us. Challah tadrim majruma. When you're making challah, when you're making that bread, which is going to be that which is so fundamental to sustenance, don't forget. Don't forget that I am the one who runs the world. And it is to them, not you and not your efforts, but rather your connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that ultimately brings the success and brings the bracha into one's home. And that, it suggests, is perhaps the connection between the two parashiyos, that the Isa, that which is our most basic sustenance, we always remind when we have the opportunity to mafresh challah, such a precious mitzvah, is to be able to think about the brachos that Hashem has given us. And when we recognize that our brachos and our success comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then hopefully HaKadosh Baruch Hu continues to shower us with his brachos.